Book 2, Lesson 12, Spirit. Affirmation. Father, God, in thy mercy, in thy love, be thou with us now. For we know and we speak of thy love. And help us then to put away for the hour the cares of this life, that we may know in truth that the Spirit and the Lamb say, Come. Let them that hear also say, Come. Let all that will come and drink of the water of life. 262-113. Book 2, Lesson 12, Spirit, based on Edgar Cayce readings, 262-113 through 262-124. Introduction. Spirit is first cause, the essence of creative power, the source of light, and the motivating influence of all life. It is God. Let us not be confused by terms. What are the relationships among such terms such as the spirit of the times, the spirit of the age, the spirit of America, the spirit of 76, the spirit of the pioneer, the spirit of fascism, the spirit of the earth, the spirit of the departed, the spirit of the church, the spirit of truth, the spirit of the Christ, the Spirit of God? It has been given that there is one Spirit. All manifestations of life in any plane of consciousness are crystallizations by Spirit. When we, through exercising free will, choose to misdirect and divert this power into selfish channels of personal aggrandizement, rather than towards the expression of its original impulse, the glorification of the Creator, then sin comes into existence. The spirit of the pioneer need not signify cruelty and destruction, nor the spirit of strife and hate, but spirit beings encased in the physical, seeking freedom as an ideal. All force is one force. It is we who brought diversity of expression and perception, and we, through the way, must return to unity. Get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, the Spirit, but those that be of man. Matthew 16:23. These words were spoken by Jesus when two ways were before him, self-glory or the glory of God. We must understand why and how Spirit came into material manifestation. Where did we come from? We must know from whence we came, how, why, and whence we go, and why. 262-114. In the beginning, God created us in His image, spiritual beings with souls, minds, and wills. In all states of consciousness, there are opportunities for the expression of these. Error came into existence before the earth, the heavens, or space were created. Using free will, expressing selfish desire, spiritual beings, souls, separated themselves from a consciousness of oneness with creative will. Life, in material bodies, is the reflection of this separation in this state of consciousness. Through the law of love, God prepared a way back, a road, a ladder, a knotted rope, for all mankind. Until this way was prepared, there was no consciousness of time or space. These concepts are aids, not hindrances, to a clearer perception of the divine will. For through time and space and patience, we will come to know the lighted path. Only those who seek may find this way. Flesh and blood may not reveal the truth to us. It is the quickening of the divine spirit within which brings each personal revelation. Humanity's projection. The children of God became the children of men as they sought selfish expression into the earth plane. They pushed themselves into matter, upsetting existent patterns of evolution going on in the earth. First, as forces seeking expression through the natural elements of mineral, plant, and animal life. Then, as hardened thought forms, molded after the pattern of animal life in the earth. In these thought forms, spiritual beings became entangled. They lost the consciousness of their divine origin. Monstrosities resulted. There was chaos. The darkness which existed is beyond the comprehension of the finite mind. The earth plane was only a three-dimensional point of expression for the chaotic state which existed. God's projection. Out of this mire of selfish thought, this morass of illusion, God prepared a way through the law of love. He said, "Let there be light." Genesis 1:3. Let there be the consciousness of time and space. The evening and the morning were the first day, a day of light and darkness, of good and evil. Step by step, spiritual beings became aware that they were away from God, from light. Jesus, as the first Adam, became the symbol of the regenerated spiritual beings returning to God consciousness. He came showing the way of patience by which we, spiritual beings, were to recognize his state and turn toward the light. The law of one was manifested eventually in the man Jesus, and is signified in the Christ consciousness. Let us get the difference. Adam and Eve, God's projection, began a line of physical descent through which spiritual beings could purify their desires and return to God consciousness. This is the true source of the legends of the chosen race, the pure race, preserved in the legends of the people of every continent. In the early days, spiritual beings who used these Adamic bodies were tempted, and many gave way to desire. The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. See Genesis 6:2, Genesis 4:16-17. Down through the ages there existed side by side the sons and daughters of mortals. The hardened thought forms mingled with animal bodies, and the sons and daughters of God, offspring of the Adamic race. Through the examples set by the Christ, we know the way. The choice is made daily by each soul to follow the light or seek selfish gratification. Now, as in the beginning, each individual is meeting himself or herself. When we act without thought as to motive or purpose, experiences result which may bring ease and comforts for a time. But when our activities are selfish indulgences and suppressions of our fellow humans, we will reap that which we have sown. As we were created for companionship with the Father, being a portion of first cause, it behooves us in materiality to manifest more and more our awareness of this relationship in our mental, physical, and spiritual bodies. We must fulfill the purpose for which we came into the earth plane, that is, to be again one with the Father, which is attained through the Christ consciousness. Therefore, through the power of the Christ, who has walked the path from the beginning, we will come to know ourselves to be ourselves, yet one with and part of the whole, yet not the whole. That is the purpose, that is the cause of being. Time, space, and patience. The Spirit of God in material understanding is time, space, and patience. While they are only literal terms to the consciousness of the finite mind, they are a part of experience in materiality and should be considered as attributes of creative force. In understanding time, we better understand God. No other concept can bring such a consciousness of unity as an inner flash of the universality of time. Every day is the beginning and the ending of a new opportunity. Every opportunity has its beginning and end. thus making way for greater physical manifestation of spiritual ideals. Every new experience is another Garden of Eden into which we have moved. Every day is the awareness of the evening and the morning being the first day. To remain in Eden or to be driven out depends upon ourselves, as to how we use our power of choice. Every moment we are just beginning to live. We are never too old to begin, if we remember that in our weakness we may be strong in Christ. God is reflected in our concept of space. In the vastness of space, our self-conceit falters. We are humblest when gazing at the stars. We draw nearer to God in contemplation of the immensity of the universe. The goodness and mercy of God are shown most in patience. To be patient is godlike, for patience is a spiritual force which may be given material expression through our attitude toward our fellow human beings. Jesus said that in patience we come to possess our souls. We become aware of the continuity of life as we are patient. As finite beings, we can express no more godlike quality than patience. Time, space, and patience are three concepts which contain the keys to spiritual development in this three-dimensional plane. Without them, fallen humanity is not aware of being away from God. They are the eye-openers, the voice of God speaking in the burning bush. Day unto day uttereth speech, night unto night showing knowledge. See Psalms 19:2. Using time and space and patience, we measure everything physical, mental, and spiritual. When we begin to catch a glimpse of the fact that all space exists in time, that all time is one, that all force is one, that all force is God, we will be getting back to the oneness of which Christ was speaking when he said that he would be in the Father and we would be in him. This realization comes to us only in patience. Self, the barrier. Selfishness is the influence which blocks our return to God consciousness. We must begin to build up within ourselves that mind which was in the Christ, if we would know God. The choice is ours. He has set before us this day good and evil. He is not willing that any should perish. 2 Peter 3:9. But that all should know the truth. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Is God not the God of the heaven, the universe? Should he not be the God of the nation, the state, the home? What moves us to find fault with our neighbor, to cause inharmonies in home, in the state, in the nation? What are we doing in our daily conversations and actions to express our recognition of the one Spirit? Are we letting selfishness block the way, or are we being led by the Spirit of truth? The Spirit of the Christ cannot abide in a selfish heart. We drive Christ from our homes, from our churches, from our state. Yes, from our own consciousness when we seek self-glory. It was the cause of the first turning away from God. It was the first sin. Experiences. Quote, "It was Christmas Eve. The day's work was done. I was tired, so I lay down for a moment to reflect. I hadn't had much money to spend for the things that generally go to make Christmas Day happy. I began to look back on the day's work. In service, I had done my best to make others happy. I had tried to be unselfish. When I thought of myself again, I realized that my body was entirely rested, although I had been lying down only a few moments. Is it possible, I thought, that true rest comes from the realization of a selfless life? If so, I had made the demonstration, no great demonstration to be sure, but one to me that was the natural result of being selfless for one day. Personal experience, and quote, during the first part of a spiritual discourse, which was a wonderful explanation of conditions of the world, I was following closely the questions that were being asked. Then, it seemed that I was up somewhere, high, unaware of being a person, just a consciousness. I was looking down on a most beautiful, broad river composed of flowing bubbles. It looked so smooth and almost musical, as the bubbles rolled on, around and over each other. I realized that the bubbles were people. They, the bubbles, finally reached a place where they burst, and all seemed to be one. I thought, it is the river of life. We too, in the end, will merge into the whole, for we are one. Personal experience, end quote. Conclusion. We are constantly meeting that which we have measured unto others, as well as unto ourselves. The fruits we sow we must reap. If we disobey the laws pertaining to cleanliness, or the natural laws of nature, do we not meet the result in ourselves? Just so it is with our mental and spiritual environment or association. To whom do we accredit these influences that are so much a part of our mental abilities and faculties, if not to self's choice? Let us know in whom we believe, and who is the author of our desires. Are our desires creative or destructive? Father, let thy desires be my desires. Let my desires, God, be thy desires, in spirit and in truth, should be our prayer. 262-60. Thus we find grace, mercy, peace, and harmony becoming more and more a part of our experience. We love others not merely because they love us, but because it brings harmony and hope into our own experience as we recognize God in our neighbor. Our religion, our love for our fellow human beings, our love for our Creator, should be a living experience, not just form. Truth, as mercy and grace, grows through use. As we manifest the fruits of the Spirit in our dealings with our fellow human beings, we fulfill that purpose for which we are called. We show forth the love we hold for our Maker by the manner in which we deal with our neighbor. God's love has manifested again and again in the earth, showing us that by love, not hate and force, a soul may be brought to an awareness of its spiritual reality. If we would be miserable, then let us think only of self. If we would know happiness, then be a friend to someone. If we would know the love of God, then show love to those who seek, to those who condemn. Be joyous in the Lord, knowing that He is ever present when we seek His face. He is ever with us when we desire to be an emissary, that others may know what it means to walk and talk with Him. When we efface self and seek only to be led by His Spirit, then and only then may we hope to do our part in the scheme of redemption. Let us analyze our desires, our purposes, put away from our mind, our heart, our experience, those things that would make us afraid, and know that the true spirit of creative influence is within. That which has a beginning must have an ending. Hence, rebellion, selfishness, and hate must be wiped away, and with them must go sorrow, tears, and sadness. Only good is everlasting. It is the Spirit of God that moved over the face of the earth, and gives this Spirit the charge concerning His own. Are we His own? He has committed to us the keeping of His sheep, the tending of His lambs, until He comes and makes an accounting with each of us. Where, oh where will we be? See 262-114. Bibliography of recommended parallel material. Available directly from ARE Press, 215 67th Street, Virginia Beach, 23451-2061, write for catalog, or go to edgarcayce.org. A Search for God, Book 1. A Search for God, Book 2. Experiments in A Search for God, the Edgar Cayce Path of Application. Experiments in Practical Spirituality. There is a River. Biography of Edgar Cayce. The transcriptions of the original readings from which the Search for God books were distilled, given to the first study group and prayer group, are also available as companion texts. Meditation, Part 1. Prayer Group Readings. Library Series, Volume 2. Study Group Readings, from which a Search for God text was compiled. Library Series, Volume 7. ARE Press. Edgar Cayce, born 1877, died 1945, founded the non-profit Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, in 1931 to explore spirituality, holistic health, intuition, dream interpretation, psychic development, reincarnation, and ancient mysteries, all subjects that frequently came up in the more than 14,000 documented psychic readings given by Cayce. Edgar Cayce's ARE provides individuals from all walks of life and a variety of religious backgrounds with tools for personal transformation and healing at all levels, body, mind, and spirit. ARE Press has been publishing since 1931 as well, with the mission of furthering the work of ARE by publishing books, DVDs, and CDs to support the organization's goal of helping people to change their lives for the better, physically, mentally, and spiritually. In 2009, ARE Press launched its second imprint, Fourth Dimension Press. While ARE Press features topics directly related to the work of Edgar Cayce, and often includes excerpts from the Cayce readings, Fourth Dimension Press allows us to take our publishing efforts further with like-minded and expansive explorations into the mysteries and spirituality of our existence without direct reference to Cayce's specific content. ARE Press / Fourth Dimension Press, 215 67th Street, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23451. Learn more at edgarcayce.org. Visit arecatalog.com to browse and purchase additional titles. Edgar Cayce's ARE. Who was Edgar Cayce? 20th century psychic and medical clairvoyant. Edgar Cayce, pronounced K.C., 1877 through 1945, has been called the sleeping prophet, the father of holistic medicine, and the most documented psychic of the 20th century. For more than 40 years of his adult life, Cayce gave psychic readings to thousands of seekers while in an unconscious state, diagnosing illnesses and revealing lives lived in the past and prophecies yet to come. But who exactly was Edgar Cayce? Cayce was born on a farm in Hopkinsville, Kentucky in 1877, and his psychic abilities began to appear as early as his childhood. He was able to see and talk to his late grandfather's spirit, and often played with imaginary friends, whom he said were spirits on the other side. He also displayed an uncanny ability to memorize the pages of a book simply by sleeping on it. These gifts labeled the young Cayce as strange, but all Cayce really wanted was to help others, especially children. Later in life, Cayce would find that he had the ability to put himself into a sleep-like state by lying down on a couch, closing his eyes, and folding his hands over his stomach. In this state of relaxation and meditation, he was able to place his mind in contact with all time and space, the universal consciousness, also known as the superconscious mind. From there, he could respond to questions as broad as, what are the secrets of the universe? And what is my purpose in life? To as specific as, what can I do to help my arthritis? And how were the pyramids of Egypt built? His responses to these questions came to be called readings, and their insights offer practical help and advice to individuals even today. The majority of Edgar Cayce readings deal with holistic health and the treatment of illness. Yet, although best known for this material, the Sleeping Cayce did not seem to be limited to current concerns about the physical body. In fact, in their entirety, the readings discuss an astonishing 10,000 different topics. This vast array of subject matter can be narrowed down into a smaller group of topics that, when compiled together, deal with the following 5 categories. 1. Health-related information. 2. Philosophy and reincarnation. 3. Dreams and dream interpretation. 4. ESP and psychic phenomena. And 5. Spiritual growth, meditation, and prayer. Learn more at edgarcayce.org. What is ARE? Edgar Cayce founded the nonprofit Association for Research and Enlightenment, ARE, in 1931 to explore spirituality, holistic health, intuition, dream interpretation, psychic development, reincarnation, and ancient mysteries. All subjects that frequently came up in the more than 14,000 documented psychic readings given by Cayce. The mission of the ARE is to help people transform their lives for the better through research, education, and application of core concepts found in the Edgar Cayce readings and kindred materials that seek to manifest the love of God and all people and promote the purposefulness of life, the oneness of God, the spiritual nature of humankind, and the connection of body, mind, and spirit. With an international headquarters in Virginia Beach, Virginia, a regional headquarters in Houston, regional representatives throughout the U.S., Edgar Cayce centers in more than 30 countries, and individual members in more than 70 countries, the ARE community is a global network of individuals. ARE conferences, international tours, camps for children and adults, regional activities, and study groups allow like-minded people to gather for educational and fellowship opportunities worldwide. ARE offers membership, benefits, and service that include a quarterly Body, Mind, Spirit member magazine, Venture Inward, a member newsletter covering the major topics of the readings, and access to the entire set of readings in an exclusive online database. Learn more at edgarcayce.org. Thanks for watching. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And be sure to go to my main page for the full playlist of books, lessons, and tablets. Thanks.